Oh, it is not Tuesday. It is Friday. It is the day before Halloween. And we're getting real scary in here today. And I'm not going to leave you scared. I'm going to leave you fearless and confident about after we address all of the fears that you have about social media. I have a few, and if you're here live today, I would love to hear yours as well. My name is Amy Iron. I'm the founder of Capitalize Social Media, and I help life and business coaches gain visibility and increase impact using live video, harnessing the power of live video. It is awesome, and I'm here today with you live. If you're here watching with me, make sure to say hi. And I just want to address the fact that you are here because you might have some fears and you might have some things holding you back from doing things that you really want to do on social media and being really connecting with your audience. And because you're here today, that means that you're willing to take that next step and jump out of that fear into confidence and really feel and act the way that you want to without being afraid. Hey, Angela, so glad that you're here today. I'm super excited to be sharing this with you in our spooky, scary Halloween edition and getting rid of those fears. I have a couple of prompts that I have gathered from my community that will get us started. Some common fears that I'm sure that, if you're watching right now, you're definitely going to relate to as well. But I want to relate this to, a haunted house. Think about in a haunted house, it can be super scary. You're walking through the haunted house, looking at every turn, waiting for something to jump out at you. And, what we do is we make up these stories in our head. We really make up these things. And I'm going to take my glasses off because they're scaring me. Make up these things in our head that really just aren't true. They aren't real. And when we turn the lights on, like I'm going to do right now, turn my light on, have some light on my face here a little bit. That is how it is when you release those fears. The light comes on, you see everything, you look around, you're like, oh, this isn't scary at all. This is not what I was expecting. That is what we're going to do today. So I'm super glad to be here. And this is a very dark background. I want to lighten it up a little bit and be with you here in real life. Let me bring on my other background. Here we go. Ooh, I really like that effect. Cool. We are here today to talk about the 5 things from my community that that came up when I asked them what their fears were. And I want to release and to give you my deepest, darkest secrets to get over those fears, because fear, it might, to some people feel like it does motivate you a little bit. But at this point, when you're letting fears hold you back, that is not helping you whatsoever, and you want to release those fears. So I'm going to address those today. Let me start with the first one. We're going to jump right in here and turn the lights on and really get over our fears. What if I post something and I hear crickets? I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, Angela. I'm definitely going to answer your question. If you post something and you hear crickets, that is, you hear nothing. You post something, you're excited, you're waiting for someone to reply on your post and comment and get all the, excited engagement juices flowing, and it just doesn't happen. What are you going to do? Hey, Mary, thanks for joining me. This is scary, and it can hold us back from creating content, from creating social media posts, from being our true selves, right? And that's what we're trying to avoid today. And speaking of which, tech issues can also be scary. I think I definitely know Mary relates to that, but I am just wanting to make sure that I have my microphone on the right settings so I sound good. Hopefully I do. Hopefully you can hear me good. Okay, so the first thing is crickets. Now, this is what I do with my clients, and I encourage you all to do this. This is kind of an advanced level technique, but this is definitely something that I teach in my membership group, the Tide Pool. This is choosing to review your analytics. And by analytics, I recommend that you definitely look at your analytics at the end of the month. So each month you're creating your content, you're putting posts out there, you're scheduling events, you're doing videos, all that great stuff. And at the very end, you want to, at the end of the month, look back and see what content did the best and what things really resonated with your audience. That is what you're going to do with your analytics. So it's okay if one of your posts didn't do so well. You're going to look at how many people it reached, how many people commented, how many people shared, those kind of things. And if they did not, it did not do as well as you would like, or just didn't perform as well, that's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you hear crickets, because you're going to be confident in knowing that you're going to look at your analytics at the end of the month, and you're going to look back and say, these are the things that did really well. This is what my audience really likes to see. I'm going to continue doing more of that. And some of the content that didn't do so well, I'm going to either try to change it up a little bit, or I'm just not going to do it at all. So don't be afraid of the crickets. A lot of social media is trial and error. You're going to try things. You're going to, really get super focused on your ideal client. And that is what's going to help you. If you have any questions while you're here, please let me know. This is definitely want this to be an interactive experience for you. And I want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. So I'm going to answer Angela's question next. Angela's question is, one of my challenges is the new Facebook layout. Yes, I can totally relate to that. I still cannot find my favorite categories. Gosh, that is definitely something to, when things change. I think what Angela is really referring to is when things change in social media and we're afraid that, we're going to do something and then we're going to have to learn something new. It's going to take more time, whatever the case may be. That is definitely a concern. So my suggestion is to have a community where you can ask these questions, where you will get your questions answered. I have a community, the Consistent Content Club for life and business coaches. You don't have to necessarily be a life and business coach, but it's, definitely for service-based entrepreneurs that are trying to stay consistent with their social media, because we know that's what really works. And I would like to invite you into my group, Angela, so you can be there and ask those questions. I would love for you can always come up with great questions, and would also benefit other members in the group that may not even know they had that question, or they maybe think of that question and just didn't think to ask it. And that is the biggest thing. So having community to be able to ask questions, have resources available, because there's really no way to know everything. I mean, I'm in this industry. I do this for a living, so I am always on top of the latest trends and things and changes and things like that. And I did do a video about the same exact topic. Actually, I'll put that link too, so you can check that out. There is all the details about the new Facebook layout and really how to approach it, because things are going to change. That's just the way. It's just the way that it works. So I can definitely relate to your situation. So. What if what happens when things change? What do we do? Community. What happens if we hear crickets? Look at your analytics, look and see what's really resonating with your audience. Keep doing that, and let the rest reanalyze and refigure the rest. The next one I have coming up, and if you're just joining us, make sure to introduce yourself and say hi. If you have any scary social media things that really hold you back from doing the content, creating the content that you really like, that you really want to do, or anything regarding being scared of social media, make sure to enter that question in the comments. I'm going to go ahead to the next question, or the next fear. How do I word my posts? How do I structure them? And how do I come up with new content? I think that is one of the biggest things one of the biggest questions I get asked is what do I post? What do I post? When do I post? How often? What do I do? That's really a very loaded question. I will say it's a very, very good question. And it is something, to be a little concerned about. But that's definitely because you care and that you want to create good content. And that's why you want to put your best effort forward. And I really appreciate and can acknowledge that, because, I do the same thing. I want to bring value to my audience. I want them to benefit from it. I want them to connect with me. I want to connect with them. That's really why we're all here. So to answer this question, the first thing I would suggest is planning in advance. So when you're planning your content in advance, you're not sitting there one day going, oh, I got to post something today, or, oh, I should have posted something yesterday. Now I got to post it today. And you're really racking your brain trying to figure out what this content could possibly, what you can do at the last minute. And that is stressful. And that stress can just kill your creativity completely. And that is what you want to avoid. So in order to have that creativity flow, my suggestion, what I always do is I plan my content in advance. So I plan it a little, some things I plan a little less farther in advance than other things, but in order to be able to plan out, in order to be able to not feel scared and really feel confident about the content that you have, is planning in advance. I like to plan my content in months at a time. So have a theme for the month and have all your other content tie into that theme. And then make sure that at that point when you're planning it out, you're scheduling your posts in advance, and then you're writing the content that really talks to your ideal client and that really resonates with them. So you know who your ideal client is, and that's who you really want to be talking to when you're creating content. You're not talking to everybody, although we want to reach everybody. You want to talk to one person, so that one person's reading that post, is reading that piece of content, they look, oh yeah, that is me. That is something that I struggle with. That is something that I need help with. And that is definitely why you want to plan in advance. So again, if you're joining a little bit late, no problem. Come on in. The lights are on in the haunted house. We're uncovering all the fears, and we're really wanting to make this I want to make this just a really powerful session for you to get rid of your fears and really harness the power of your creativity and your superpowers to show up on social media consistently. Yes, Angela, you bring up a really good point. Holidays and events can help to create content, just like I'm doing right now. I love Halloween. I love Halloween, and I'm holiday planning, holiday content, and planning it around those special events for sure. So you can check, there's lots of calendars out there that you can check to see what holidays are coming up in advance and which ones you resonate with and which ones resonate with your audience. So great point, Angela. Thank you. The next one was a concern brought up by one of the members of my community. Broken links are my worst nightmare. Oh gosh, I can relate to that too. There are so many different links and places people go and routes they can go. And, it seems like it's impossible to know, if all the links are going to work. But, you can do your best and make sure that you are testing your links in advance. That's what I should do. I mentioned before, trial and error and testing is your best weapon against any of these fears. This is definitely one that I actually learned a trick from my friend Yvonne Hyman. She was my business efficiency coach for quite a few months actually, and she let me in onto this little secret. It's not really a secret, but it's a really cool trick that I like to use for testing links. Because when I'm sending an email to a client, I'm sending potential clients emails, I'm responding to something really important. Anything, of course, is important, but when we want our links to work. So what I always do, and I use the Chrome browser pretty much primarily, is I create a second tab. I can open an incognito tab, is what they call it for Chrome, and I copy that link in there so they don't know it's me. So I wanted the link to show up how they would see it, where they're not going to have any of the history that I have. It's completely blank canvas. Post my link and connect to that link through the incognito window, and that is what's going to allow me to see what's going to show up. So it'll tell me if it's broken. It'll tell me if there is some other path that it needs to go through, needs to connect somewhere else. If it's exactly what I want my the person that's going to click on it to see, that's how testing it. So using an incognito window, I primarily use Chrome. I love the way that it integrates with all the Google platforms. And that's my little secret trick to get over your fear of broken links, because that is not fun at all. All right, this is the fourth. I have 5 today. This is the fourth one. The fourth scariest thing about social media. This is a big one. Seeing negative comments on my posts. that is something that can happen. I mean, you're putting your content out in the public eye where everyone can see it, no matter who you are, if you met them before or not. That's, of course, why we are creating content consistently, to hopefully reach a broader audience. That is going to become a little more scary when we're doing this, in public. So when you see negative comments on your post, I guess you definitely have to use your own filter, the way that you see things and how appropriate, the appropriateness level of it. Negative comments, that could be something that, is very vulgar. Of course, we're going to just delete and hide any vulgarity, anything that you notice that could be something that is offensive, right? So I don't know where on the scale this would be on the scale of negativity, but if you're on the very end of the scale where it's something that's super, very offensive to everyone, I would hide and delete that comment. As far as it just being negative, as far as something that, is just against what you normally would say, that's something that I would, address right away, right? Whenever you have comments on your posts, on your videos, anytime, you always want to reply to them as soon as possible. So when that happens, you definitely want to reply to it and start with empathy. That's what I would do, is lead with empathy always. Try to understand their point of view, put yourself in their shoes and say, I can understand where you're coming from. This is how I see it. And this is why, this is my perspective, right? Because nobody can argue your perspective. The way that you see things is real. That is the truth for you. And the way that they see things is the truth, and that's real and the truth for them. So when you're seeing someone comment that doesn't agree with you, that just means that that's just how they view the world, and it's different than how you, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would definitely address it as in that way, to offer empathy and just say, this is something that I don't necessarily agree with. What I have found sometimes on my posts, someone will post something and then it's like, well, what about this instead? And I said, that's a great point. That is something that, that I wouldn't have considered before, that I really is a really great idea. And that is something that, thank you for bringing that into the conversation, basically, because having that conversation, you're building connections with that person that's responding, but you're also letting the outside world see how you respond to things as well. And that can speak volumes too. So you definitely want to, definitely be honest, be showing empathy, and, understand that everyone is going to have your same point of view. Unfortunately, some people don't always have the most positive way of presenting their view of the world, and that's okay too. That's just part of who they are. So in my perspective, the way that I handle things is always taking it to the positive and flipping around to see what can we learn from this situation. Hey, Tim, thanks for being here. And this show is so horrible. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. I really strive to bring value and hope that you are really here to learn and get over your fears. And, if there's any fears that you have, I love to address them. Yes, thank you. Empathy is key for sure. Lead with empathy. So I've covered 4. Tim, let me know what your scary social media, the scariest thing that you find about social media, and I will do my best to solve that. That is what we're here today to do. We're going through the haunted house of social media. We're turning the lights on, so we're not scared anymore. We are turning the lights on, because whenever you go to a haunted house, you turn the lights on. It's not scary anymore, right? That's what we're doing today. So I'm super glad that you're here. Last question, or last concern. People, this is probably one of my favorite ones. People won't agree with my point of view. Now, that is a lot of what we're experiencing in the world today. There's a lot of opposing views on various topics. What I will say, and as you are voicing your experience, your expertise, your knowledge, sharing and giving so much value on behalf of your business, all the content that you're sharing, all these things to connect with your audience, and they don't agree with your point of view, again, that's their own particular perspective, and that's how they view the world, and that's okay, and we can offer empathy for sure. However, it is not your goal to have everybody agree with your point of view. It is not your goal to have everybody agree with your point of view. It's just not. That is, your goal is to express your point of view as your business owner with the experience and expertise that you have, and you are sharing that to benefit who's watching and who's coming into your world. Okay, so not everybody, you cannot expect everybody to agree with your point of view, and that is okay. You are individual, you are your own person. Not everybody, this has taken me a while to learn this as well, but not everybody is going to like you, and there is nothing you can do about that. There is nothing we can do about someone else's feeling towards us. We can offer as much empathy in the world. We can just be as nice as we possibly can. And there's just some people that aren't going to be drawn to us for whatever reason, they don't have the matching energy. They don't have, whatever the case may be. I can go on and on, but your goal should not be to have everyone agree with you, because that is your point of view. But what you do by expressing your point of view is having people that do agree with you, that do enjoy your energy, are going to come into your world, and that's naturally going to happen. You're naturally, by being yourself and being who you are, that is who is going to attract to you. And that's exactly what you should be trying to do, because you can't expect that everybody is going to agree with you. And Tim says, come on, you have to agree with me. Tim's watching us from LinkedIn. You have to agree with me. You agree with me. I do. Actually, Tim, we do agree on a lot of things. We do agree on very many things. That's why we get along so well. But, you're putting content out there as well, and, you're creating posts and videos and things like that that people may not always agree with. And that's okay. Those people are going to kind of find somewhere else that they can find someone that they align with. And then the people that do align with you are going to be attracted to you, and you're going to bring them into your world. And those are the 5 scary things that my community shared that I wanted to share with you. Bring some great comments. Angela and Tim, thank you for being here. That's one of the people that kind of just hit around and, tried to be sly and not comment, and that's okay too. I just want to make sure that I'm bringing value to you as my audience, and you are the ones that I care about, and you're the ones that are here showing up, and I appreciate that. And I hope that I've helped you get over your fear of social media and of being your full, true self. That is definitely my goal, is being able to have you create content and in confidence, not out of fear. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you want to talk about further with me, feel free to reach out in Messenger. And also in my group, the Consistent Content Club, I'd love to have you there to answer any questions and talk about any concerns you have there too. I'm all here to support you. We're all in this together. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Halloween. And if you have a haunted house that you come across, don't be afraid to turn the lights on. Maybe after everyone's out of there, but right away, make sure that you get rid of those fears and you have an amazing, amazing weekend, amazing Halloween. And it was great spending this time with you. Take care. Bye-bye.